Hi guys, good evening. Thanks for joining me and watching this segment. Today we are going to be talking about something very interesting. It's called a lofty question. I'm not sure how many of y'all may have heard about the lofty question, but it's such a powerful concept. And let me just share with you what lofty question is all about. So a lofty question is basically a positive question that encourages helpful answers. Yeah, it's a positive question. It's worded in a positive way and it encourages helpful answers. And a lofty question is always posed by you back to yourself. So that are the two very interesting things about a lofty question. Now, why are lofty questions powerful and what do we use lofty questions for? You see, our brain is always trying to answer questions. By default, we are always answering questions. And a lot of these times, we are not even aware that we are answering questions. We're always asking about, when is COVID going to end? When is the lockdown going to end? What is the government doing about this? What's going to be the weather tomorrow? We are always asking questions. Our mind is always operating like that. And our brain is always trying to give us the answers. Now, the problem is, usually by default, we do not ask helpful questions. And because we do not ask helpful questions, and because we are kind of attracted to drama, we are attracted to negativity, our questions also seem to follow that kind of a trend. Hi Dee, nice to see you. Hi Darshana. So when we are focused on all these things, the questions are also following this trend. So they don't fulfill the definition I mentioned earlier about the lofty questions. Hi Uma, nice to see you. They are not positive and they don't encourage helpful answers. And then when we ask these wrong questions, what happens is we get stuck. We get stuck in the circumstances and we are not sure of what's happening. Shai is here. Hi. Nice to see you, Sarah. Do say hi, guys. If y'all are watching, please do say hi. I would love to know who is watching as well. So what lofty question does, it basically encourages the subconscious mind to make a positive identity shift. Because when we ask, when we are always asking questions, and this is something that you can see whether it's something that you do. A lot of times, hi Thambi, nice to see you. A lot of times we ask questions like, why am I so unlucky? Why is my life like this? Why am I always in debt? Why don't people like me? Why is my life so hard? Why am I feeling this way about everything? Why don't I have energy? Why is my health so bad? A lot of times we ask this kind of question. And this is like the opposite of lofty questions. And these are the questions that we need to watch out for, because our subconscious is always trying to answer us in a helpful way, but it doesn't know how to judge. When we ask this kind of questions, the subconscious thinks that we want more of this, and it tries to find more opportunities for that. Now, I've actually demonstrated this before in one of my other Facebook lives, but what if I tell you, do not think of a pink elephant. Do not, under any circumstances, do not think of a pink elephant. No pink elephant. No pink elephant. Now, what you will realize is that you actually had no intention of thinking about a pink elephant before I mentioned that, right? And there was no need. But the moment I asked you not to do something, that is all you could think of. Because that's basically how our brain works. In order for us to stop thinking about something, we actually have to think about it first, right? So even if we don't want to think about that, or we don't want to think about bad things, we don't want to think about how unlucky we are, or how our life stinks, or how bad our job is, even though we don't want to think about that, the moment we ask such questions, we will first have to think about it before we can stop thinking about it. But the moment we start thinking about it, our brain kind of thinks that we want more of that, and it starts looking for more opportunities to bring that into our consciousness. So if we want to hack this in a very conscious way, we need to use lofty questions. So we ask lofty questions, and when we ask lofty questions, what it does is that the brain tries to answer the lofty questions, and we will encourage more positive outcomes. We will encourage the subconscious to look for creative answers, you know. And an example of a lofty question is something like this: why am I always so lucky? Why am I always finding enough money to pay off all my bills? Why am I always having such great friends in my life? Why is my life so good? You know, when we ask this kind of a question, it actually causes a positive identity shift. Suddenly in our subconscious, hi Bebiaka, nice to see you. So in our minds, it actually causes a positive shift. Suddenly our subconscious is like, I'm always lucky, like, and it tries to answer the question. You see, guys, we often talk about positive affirmations, right? And we are encouraged to use positive affirmations. But do you know that lofty questions are even more powerful than positive affirmations? And the reason for that is because sometimes when I say something like, I am a wealthy person, in my mind sometimes it goes like, look, your bills does not really reflect that. You know, I can have that kind of answer back to myself. But when I ask a question, why am I so wealthy? Why am I always so wealthy? Now, this confuses our brain. You know, it doesn't, because I'm not saying it, so it can't refute me straight away. I'm asking a question like, why am I so wealthy? Now the brain will try to answer this question, like, why am I so wealthy? So this is a very positive hack. You know, it's even more powerful than a positive affirmation, and it will start that thinking process. So how do we word a lofty question? Yeah, so there's 4 things that we have to keep in mind when we are wording a lofty question. So the first one is, it always has to be phrased in a positive manner. So we cannot say things like, why am I not in debt? You have to say, why am I always having more than enough money to pay my bills on time? Why am I always getting increments at my work? Why am I always, having so much money in my bank account? So you word it in a positive way. So that is the first one. Because, if you look back at the pink elephant example, our mind, our subconscious can't differentiate the word not. When you say something, it will take that's what we want. Yeah, it doesn't know about the negative. So always word it in a positive outcome way. So that's the first key in coming up with good lofty questions. The second one is to start with the word why. Yeah, when we start with the word why, it, like I said, when we talk about affirmation and I say something like, I am very wealthy. Hi Sue, nice to see you. Hi Maliga, thanks for joining. So when we say why, like when again I go back to the affirmation, when I say something like, my affirmation, my positive affirmation is that I am very wealthy, I'm very wealthy always, I can sometimes refute it because internally I still have a lot of blocks and limiting beliefs against that. So I can suddenly when I say that, another voice will come and say, yeah, right, you look at your bills, look at your bank account, you're not wealthy. It can say that. But when I shift it to a why, the same thing, I am so wealthy, instead of that, I position it as a lofty questions, and I say, why am I always so wealthy? And now the mind is confused. It can't refute me. So it goes into submission. It accepts that because it doesn't know what else to do. It accepts that I am wealthy. Now it's trying to figure out why am I wealthy? It will reduce any block or limiting belief against that question. So that's why the why question is very powerful. Now the third one is to use words like always, at all times into the lofty question. For example, why am I always so wealthy? Why do I always have more than enough money? Why is it that at all times the traffic is always clear when I leave the house? So you use this kind of superlative, continuous words. And the reason for that is when we use such words, our mind believes that this is something that we want consistently and we want it forever. And when our subconscious gets this message that this is something that we want consistently and we want it forever, what it does is it activates our reticular activating system. Yeah, we have got a internal system called RAS, which acts as a filter of data. Now the RAS blocks a lot of things because otherwise it will be too much of things coming into our mind. But when we come up with this kind of question, now the RAS actually picks it up, and now the RAS will filter things in a positive way to support this question. So it will start looking for opportunities to prove why we are so wealthy. It will start looking for events to prove why we are so wealthy. It will start looking at people to show why we are so wealthy. Yeah? I think I lost connection for a while. My internet is a bit buggy. I hope I'm back online. Yeah, so when I also found out about the lofty question, it just blew my mind away. It's such a powerful way of using this. And you're very welcome. So when we word it like that, our RAS gets activated and it starts helping us. Yeah, our subconscious is our most faithful servant, and it brings event, it brings people. It's basically trying to help us to create the answer to why we are always so wealthy. Now that's the third part. And the fourth one is to do it in a relaxed, meditative manner. Ask the question in a relaxed, meditative manner. Anything that we do with the mind, it has to be in a relaxed, meditative manner. Anything that we do in the physical realm, we have to do it with power. We have to take action, we have to move fast, and we have to do everything. Everything with the mind has to be relaxed. No effort. The mind, in a mental state, things work better when they are relaxed. That's why stress, we can't think, because the mind doesn't do very well under stressful, very action-oriented environment. The mind does well when it's relaxed. To really utilize the power of our mind, we have to come to a relaxed state. To utilize the power of our body, we have to get to extremely physical state. It works the opposite way. Hi Rajkumar, nice to see you. So when we are asking the lofty question and you want to really maximize the power of our mind and the power of the subconscious, ask it in a very relaxed, meditative manner, and it will sink into it, and everything that I mentioned earlier will just come into play. So that's the power of using the lofty questions, and I just shared with you all the 4 key points in how to word a lofty question properly. And even your affirmation, after you say your affirmations, this is something that for people who are using affirmations on a daily basis, this is something that you guys can do. After repeating the affirmation, ask it again with a lofty question. The affirmation will go in deeper. So if your affirmation is, for example, I can succeed, I am succeeding, you can change it to a lofty question. Why is it that I'm always succeeding? Why is it that I'm always succeeding in life? And you'll find that it will make your affirmations into a powerhouse. So do try that, guys, and let me know how it goes. Yeah, you can always tell me and comment on how it goes. So that's all I have for today, and thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Have a great day, and I will see you all again tomorrow.